Hello everyone. I'm sitting here kind of plain today. I did a short as well, just saying, I bought some peonies and some of them are kind of wonky and I love that. I picked them specifically because they were kind of wonky and I like wonky. I'm kind of wonky. So I thought I would give these a try because we see the same peony all the time. I love painting them all the time. So when I saw this, I really noticed it. So I'm going to give it a try today and might invite you to also give it a try. I'm already talked about my supplies, so I very lightly traced out. This is my photo. These are in my art studio right now, and I just lightly traced out a couple of these just because I didn't want to go into my normal way to paint these, which I would do just out of muscle memory and habit. So therefore, that's why I did that. I just lightly traced, but feel free to just use brush strokes. This is going to be another brush of mine, by the way. It may throw you off. It's orange. They haven't sent me the new one yet. That's pink. But surprise, surprise, this is a 16 I'm going to have in my set. And I'm quite loving it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm kind of going to do a light wash with the pinkish Quin Magenta color. Let me just spin my thing around here and using my MeiLiang. So let's just add a light value of that. You could use, if you have Winsor Newton. I'm so sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a very light wash. You could even go in with just water if you wanted. And to be honest, I don't know how this is going to turn out, you guys. It may be a hot mess. But you know what? Let's play. So point, press, I've anchored my hand here. And by the way, I'm using my Meeden hot press paper. And I want this to be rather wet. Because, as I said, these are quite wonky. And I'm trying to also leave some white space in here. I just want to get the general feel for where some of the little petals might be. And I'm looking in here and it's got a lot of yellow in this center. But all the petals, like I almost felt sorry for this little peony. And at the same time, like pretty happy. So I'm wetting my brush quite a bit and going to go in. And remember, paint goes just where the water is. So I'm just creating several little petals here. And I would advise you, just go in and paint shapes you see. I think sometimes for me, if I get too much into, I'm painting a peony, it needs to look like a peony. For me, I feel a lot more freedom when I just get in and I kind of paint. I kind of paint what I see. I kind of paint shapes. And next thing you know, I've got exactly what I was looking for. So sometimes just paint shapes. I had a teacher who taught us this as well. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit darker value. And a lot of the darker values are in the bottom here. So I'm just going to add those in. And remember, if you want to clean up some of those lines, you can lift as well. I'll show you in a minute here. So I'm just kind of following my painting here. Again, this isn't going to be perfect. I know I was laughing to myself because the other day somebody commented on one of my poppy tutorials and said, this is a mess. This does not look like a poppy at all. And I thought, I was kind of glad because I thought I didn't want it to look specifically like a picture of a peony. I mean, a poppy. My picture, actually. Because I want to encourage you to use your creativity. And I like to create my flowers how I want to see them. Not as a picture, otherwise I'll just stick with the picture. That's just me. There's lots of different styles of painting. And there's definitely realism, and there's nothing wrong with that. So this is just me. I'm going to do, I think I'll start on this one up here, which was a little bit lighter. So bringing in some of those, using Wet n Wet. I want it to be quite washy. And you know, peonies are quite fluffy. So just, I'm kind of trying to pick out, not necessarily the exact shapes or the exact petals and such. I'm more trying, oops, sorry for that camera shake, to pick out shapes and things. And a lot of my darks are on the inside, so that's where I'm placing them. Using a lot of water here. So I just used carbon paper and took the photo and drew in some shapes. To be honest, I may get done with this and it may not look like a peony. But you know, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay because I'm just here to play and to have fun. Now, if I was doing a commission and somebody specifically was like, I want it to look exactly like a peony. I want it to look with all the details and everything else, that might be different, although I would probably tell them that's not my style of painting, and that may not be yours too, or it may. So my message here is, you know, you're an artist. Find the style that you like painting in. And then I'm just wetting those edges. I just keep going here. And might add in some dark because everywhere that's the center of the flower, I'm going to fill a lot of this with the yellow. I will add in some of these funky little leaves that were kind of flopped over and rather sad, actually. That's what they reminded me of, like they were kind of sad because probably nobody was picking them, right? Everybody was going for the perfect peony. That never gets me. I always like the kind of wonky peonies and wonky flowers. Okay, and I'm going to do, there was some petals in the back here, just using the tip of my brush, so, and just doing some squiggles. I think so many times we just get, or me, I should speak for myself here, so caught up in my head how something should look. And especially, guys, I will tell you, when you're on YouTube or you're painting for someone or in front of someone, it can definitely be a little nerve-wracking because you know you're going to get, you know, of course, people who say you don't know what you're doing, like the poppy, I don't like it, it looks a mess. And you have to be able to just say, you know, I like what I do. I like my style. And sometimes it's not going to look like the photo, and I'm okay with that. So I'm kind of pulling out, because if you're having fun, to me, that's what this is all about. Pulling out some of these, leaving white space here and there. Okay, I'm going to go in now with some of that yellow. So I've got a cad yellow here. Make sure really wash and rinse your brush, because if you go in with any of that quin magenta into your yellow, you know, right? It's going to turn orange or not the bright yellow that we want here. So I'm going to start just picking out some of these little yellow doodads here, and some peeking out here. There is even a few there. And look at that. Isn't that fun? Let's add in some green. I'm going to use my sap green, although in my palette here I've got a little bit of olive green too. And add in some of that, maybe add in some darker colors, very wet and wet. So I'm really playing here. And for me, you always hear me say, I just want to have fun now. I did commissions for years, and I still do them occasionally, but I really want to have fun. Add in some green here and there, using the side of my brush. And again, I'm really going for, where does it look like I want to add some color? Because these peonies had a ton of leaves everywhere, to be quite honest. There we go. I even, as you see, I'm adding in some of the red, the pink, which you'll see me do often because I like to combine the pink with the green. And let's see, what else do I want to add? There were a few darks in here in my photo. So let's just turn that around. So I might just do that. Actually, I'm going to go in first and just wet a couple areas in here. Oop, now see, I didn't wash my brush enough, so it had some green in it. There we go. And then I'll go in and kind of touch in. I love working wet and wet because I think it really kind of invites people in to kind of make their own painting. I was painting for years a lot of these boho women, and everybody would see different things in them. So I might lift a little with a damp brush, and then go back in with a little pink just around the edges. Look at that. Just play here. See what pops up for you. Might go in with a little bit of dark right in here. So again, playing with shapes, just giving it kind of that pretty color. Picking up a little bit of that. And there you go. I'm basically gonna call that done. And you know, this poor little peony, which I think is beautiful with the droopy leaves and everything, there you go. I might add in, let's mix, I wanna show you this because mixing contrasting colors opposite on the color wheel can really create some nice shadows. So I'm going to mix pink and green, the flower, and then a little bit of that green. And look at the beautiful shadowy color I get. Yet, it really, you know, it's contrasting, but it really brings in the two colors of the elements here. Just touching in, kind of guiding my viewer's eye around. And then maybe a tiny bit of the olive green. This is such a fun way to paint for me. And I have to even remind myself because sometimes I can get really caught up in, not often, to be quite honest, because I just love painting and I'm too old to get disturbed by people's comments. But I do have to say, every once in a while, if I'm not mindful, I can get a little concerned about, oh my gosh, somebody's not going to like this. They're going to say, how in the world do you even have a YouTube channel? You, to use the word, which I hate, suck. But you know what? It's okay. Do what, if it makes you happy, go for it. I'm going to use my dark brown here. And now I've switched to my 8 brush, which look, my 8 brush, my brush set matches. And I'm just going to go in and add a tiny bit of detail here. Being careful not to put my palm in my wet paint. And there you go. Isn't that fun, you guys? I think I will actually end up framing this because I really like it. And it just, to me, reminds me to have fun. It reminds me that everything doesn't have to be perfect. It's about painting in your style, painting in a way that makes you happy. And that's really how I like to teach. There you go. Gonna get rid of those squiggle lines, just pick them up. And I think I'll stop right there. All right, everybody, I hope you give this a try. It was awfully fun for me. And, you know, find your wonkiness inside and have fun with it. And find something you like in every painting. You guys, I promise you, you are an artist. It's just learning these techniques that can be kind of tricky, but once you learn them, you can do this. I promise you. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Alrighty, have fun. I hope you enjoyed this, and happy painting, friends. Thanks so much for being here with me.